Well, I'm here with Susan Koenig. She is Executive Life Coach and Counsel of Koenig Dunn. And that's your law firm, correct?
That's right.
Okay. Susan, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thrilled to be here.
You are our game changer in the October issue of Metro Magazine. And first of all, thank you for sharing your story. You really, as women, we do so many great things, but it's kind of, as you go through life and you had a calling to do something in addition to your law firm. So let's talk about some history. Like,
sure.
Who are you, where you came from,
Yeah.
bringing you into starting a law firm.
Yeah. Well, I grew up in Omaha, and when I graduated from law school, if you can picture the early 1980s, I was a woman, and I'd been a bit of an activist, so finding employment wasn't easy for me. And in 1983, I found myself becoming a solo practitioner and a mother in the same month. And so that's how I started my being on my own. And today, the law firm has 10 lawyers and 10 support staff. So that was my beginning in law.
And then somewhere along that journey, you had this calling to be a life coach.
Yeah, it really was a calling, Andy. I've loved my career in law. I never thought I would do anything else. When I read a description of what coaching is, at a time I had never heard of it, I thought to myself, this is me. I could so do this. This is going to be my next career, which is a really crazy thought that I had, or intuition, some might say.
And what year was that?
That was right after 9/11.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, so it was September of 2001. So I had enough interest that I began getting trained and eventually enrolled in a coaching academy. While I was studying coaching, I began coaching people. Once I started coaching people, I loved it so much, I knew this is all I want to do with the rest of my life. And so I've been able to do that.
And how do you, your article in this month's issue talked a little bit about how you're able to take that coaching, you can blend it into your law firm and help the people that are in your law firm.
Yes. What I saw I had always loved about being a divorce lawyer, which is what we do at Koenig Dunn, is helping people look at the life that they're moving toward. What is it that I want to create? And how am I going to go along this journey, along my path, being true to my values, remembering what's most important, remembering my children matter, remember that I want to think long term, and I need to keep moving forward one step in front of the other, and I need support. I can't do this alone. So that's what I always loved about being a divorce lawyer, and then I realized, oh, that's what I get to do as a coach.
And I think too, like with your clients that you work with or have worked with, it really is important to be able to ask those questions versus it just being this kind of, whether it's a tragedy or whether it's a challenge. Divorce is not an easy thing to go through, regardless of whether it's, applicable or amicable or not. So able to help those people ask those questions, because there is life beyond divorce.
Yes, and I've been divorced, I've been widowed.
Yeah.
And I know that anytime you have a big life change, moving forward is very frightening and uncertain and unpredictable.
Yeah.
So having someone to serve as a guide and who creates a space for you to just to allow yourself to look at these questions. What is it that I really want for myself and for my future?
And I love that, creating a space, because so many of us do not have that space in our life. We're just kind of like this, and it's just one thing to the next. Yes. And I understand having that space open to just be able to be you and to be able to think and to be able to add things or just live in that space.
And where the agenda is yours, whereas not what your employer wants, not what your children want, not what your partner is pressuring you for, but really, what is it for you? Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about, first of all, your TED Talk. You mentioned that you did a TED Talk was it 2013?
That's right.
And prior to that, your husband had passed away?
That's right. John died 8 years ago, and that was the biggest eulogy I had ever given. But I had given my first eulogy 30 years before, almost 30 years before, when my father passed away, and had become my family eulogist.
Wow.
So I had learned a lot from giving these eulogies about what meant for a meaningful life, what brought a meaningful life to someone. And I saw that it wasn't necessarily our big achievements and our biggest goals met. It was often our most heartfelt moments, our kind acts, and so that's what inspired that TED Talk.
Let's talk about your brother. And I know you're very supportive, involved, and you have a party every year, Night of 1,000 Stars, but he passed away from AIDS in 1994?
Yes.
Is that it? Okay.
So this year marks 25 years since Tim died. And he was a great teacher to me about life and about dying. We were 8 children in our family. I was 5th and he was 6th, so we were very close. And Nebraska AIDS Project, which had supported him, has an annual fundraiser, Night of 1,000 Stars, and every year I host a pre-party for this, where my friends come and my family come, and we honor Tim, celebrate, and raise some money for the good work of Nebraska AIDS Project.
This is totally not in our talking notes. What did his death mean to you, or how did that impact you?
You know, it was my first experience in really deep grief. And really knowing what it meant to not feel like getting out of bed. And because I've always been an optimistic, positive, high energy person. And so this was the first time I'd faced that truly in my life. And it woke me up to how much we have to grieve in life when we're going through a change. And watching him on that journey toward death made me realize what mattered most. You know, our Wednesday night trips to the grocery store and to have a little bite of dinner, or those conversations, listening to some music together. It was those ordinary moments that made life so precious. And it's so easy to lose sight of that when we have big careers, big lives, busy lives. And so he taught me so much.
Well, anything else you want to add to the conversation?
I just want to say that the great joy of getting to do what I do as a coach, both within the law firm at Koenig Dunn, and I work with a lot of nonprofit leaders and business leaders, is that I know that everyone wants to make their greatest contribution. Everyone wants to know that their life matters. And that's what a coach gets to help them to do, is to see what that is for them, what their unique contribution is. And so it's just the best job ever.
And everybody's different.
That's right.
Everybody's different. One person, how they want to contribute is completely different from another one. And I think being able to guide all kinds of people, it's just not a cookie cutter.
It's not. It's not. We each have a unique contribution to make.
So how can people follow you on Facebook, or how can people connect with you?
They can check out my website, coachkoenig.com. They can read my blogs at the Koenig Dunn website, and other great blogs too. Would love for people to be in touch.
Thank you so much for joining me today, and thank you again for sharing your story in this edition of Metro Magazine.
Thank you for having me.
You're
welcome. My great joy. Okay, take care.
And we will be right back.